This is Russell Copeland, former NFL player for the Buffalo Bills, Philadelphia Eagles, and Green Bay Packers. And I just want to talk about yesterday's game. This is Super Wild Card Weekend, and yesterday's game between the Chargers and Jacksonville Jaguars was most definitely super and very wild. But I'm going to start with Brandon Staley and the Chargers, how they blew a 27-0 lead, 27-7 at the halftime, only to lose 31-30. A lot of things has to happen for a team to lose a 27-point lead. And also on the flip side of that, a lot of things has to go right for Jacksonville to come back and win that game, especially when they went in at the half with 5 turnovers. You have your young quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, who had thrown 4 interceptions. And man, what a great game Asante Samuels Jr. had, looking like his father, Asante Samuels Sr., picking off Trevor Lawrence 3 times. But when you look at that, going in at the half, when you look at the debacle, and yes, they were up 27-0, but they were not scoring in the red area efficiently like they should because they didn't have Mike Williams. And why did they not have Mike Williams? It's because Brandon Staley last week decided to play his starters well into the fourth quarter. And Mike Williams gets hurt in the fourth quarter. And Mike Williams is their biggest red area threat. He's 6'4". He's about 235, 240 pounds. He is a grown man when it comes to the red area. You got back shoulder fades, you got slants, you got your square ends. He was not available for that. And I think you could see his presence was needed. And Brandon Staley's decision-making, or should I say lack thereof, is the reason why I say it's going to be hard for Brandon Staley to retain his job. When you look at an up-and-coming superstar with Justin Herbert, you have the weapons around him. You've got a defense that you have spent a whole lot of money on in free agents, a defense that's a good defense. And Brandon Staley's calling card is defense. And your defense was not able to stop a quarterback that should not have had the confidence to come back in the second half and be able to beat you. And then from an offensive standpoint, just the coaching staff in general. You only scored 3 points in the second half. You didn't score any points in the fourth quarter. And when you look at Sean Payton, he's hovering around and he's surveilling all possibilities for a head coaching job that he can come in and he can make some changes. And he wants to have a quarterback that's a franchise type of quarterback, and he'll fill in the pieces. And I think this job will be very enticing for Sean Payton if they fire Brandon Staley. And I just don't see how they can retain him. But also another name that comes up is Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy has worked with Patrick Mahomes. We know what Patrick Mahomes has done in his early career. Andy Reid is an outstanding, brilliant mind, one of the most brilliant minds offensively in the history of the National Football League. He has been picked over. I think that he would fit in nicely as well. Yes, I'm jumping the gun a little bit. We'll see how things play out. But I think the Chargers fan base deserves more. The football team deserves more. And when you have an up-and-coming superstar at the quarterback position, you only have a short window for that quarterback to be able to get you to the playoffs and win playoff games. And in order to win a Super Bowl, you've got to get into the dance. And we saw what happened last year with the Cincinnati Bengals. They finished up 10-7, got into the playoffs, had a great run, went to the Super Bowl. You don't know what can happen until you get into the playoff game, and there's no way that you should be able to lose the lead that you had at 27-0 at one point in time in the second quarter, 27-7 at the halftime. But something else that sticks out, you have to look at the flip side of that. You have to look at Trevor Lawrence. Most young quarterbacks, even veteran quarterbacks, throw 4 interceptions and a half. 3 to one particular player, your confidence is usually shot. Most of the times, those players are not able to bounce back from that, especially a young quarterback. But Doug Peterson is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Doug Peterson has been a quarterback in the National Football League. He backed up Brett Favre for a lot of years. And if anyone knows Brett Favre's career, he could be hot and cold at any time. He could be cold and then he could get hot. He could be hot, then he could be cold. But he was able to be a backup and be able to talk to Brett Favre. But most importantly, watch how Mike Holmgren was able to handle those type of situations. And Doug Peterson was able to do that. He was a calming mechanism for Trevor Lawrence. He talked to him and he kept Trevor Lawrence in the game. And number two is your team. For the team to be able to still have confidence in their young quarterback, to still come out in the second half and play, that shows you how they respect their quarterback. And also that shows you the fingerprint, the culture change that Doug Peterson has put on this young football team in his first year coaching with Jacksonville Jaguars. I tell you what, winning a game like that, it really has a lot of confidence for a young quarterback. He feels like that he can be able to overcome any adversity that he may face in the game. And now, I'm going to flip to the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. And, like I said before, both of these games was a difference. It was a tale of two halves. In the first half, I think that the Seattle Seahawks did a tremendous job. And they go up at the halftime 17-16. And the main reason why they go up 17-16 is because they played a flawless game. They didn't have any penalties and they didn't have any turnovers. And when you're playing against a defense such as the San Francisco 49ers, you have to have balance. And they definitely had balance. They were able to run the football with Kenneth Walker. They were able to get some play action passes, throw the football down the field to DK Metcalf. He had a big game as well. The stars came out to play. But when you come out in the second half, San Francisco gets the football and you have Brock Purdy. And I think it's time for us to stop talking about Brock Purdy or having the narrative that he's Mr. Irrelevant. He is very relevant, and him being relevant is the reason why this football team kept their foot on the gas. They never gave up. They had the confidence, and ultimately they won the game. But from a defensive standpoint, they were looking for that one turnover. And after San Francisco gets the first possession to go down and score, Geno comes back and he's driving down the football field. And take mine, I said they didn't have any turnovers in the first half and they didn't have any penalties. And they drive down around the 15-yard line, getting the opportunity to score in the red area. They have a penalty, illegal man downfield. Now they get past the 20-yard line. And now here comes San Francisco. You have a penalty. You have a long distance to go. San Francisco come. They get a sack fumble. Then they get the football back. Brock Purdy once again leads his football team down the field and scores. Geno gets the ball back. Now he's pressing, wants to throw the football down the field because you're down now by 2 scores, throws an interception, and the rest is history. And, just talking about Brock Purdy, what he has brought to this football team, he is definitely has outplayed Trey Lance when he had the opportunity to play. He seems to have a better understanding than Trey Lance. When you look at Jimmy G has not really been able to throw the football down the field. He really manages the game. He throws the football underneath. But Brock Purdy is able to throw the football down the field to his playmakers and also throw the football underneath. And his understanding of the offense, for him to be a third-string quarterback, is very remarkable. But I love the pocket presence of Brock Purdy, how he's able to maneuver inside the pocket and slide up the pocket and be able to get outside the pocket, but still have the presence of mind to throw the football and not throw the football to the other team, to throw the football to his playmakers and make plays. And I tell you what, man, this San Francisco 49ers football team is going to be a hard out. And in order to beat this football team, you're going to have balance, running the football and passing the football. But your running backs are going to have to be able to run hard, yes, not turn the football over, but be able to get outside of the pocket and catch passes to be able to put pressure on those linebackers to open some things up. And the wide receivers, they're going to have to play big. They're going to have to be able to make some big plays in the secondary. And we saw how DK Metcalf was able to get down the field, make a lot of plays with his physicality. And there's one team that stands out for me that I think could put pressure on this San Francisco 49ers team, and it is the Philadelphia Eagles. And of course, you want to see how healthy Jalen Hurts is. Don't really know how everything is going to play out. Don't know what team is going to play because you still have games today. Dallas Cowboys play tomorrow. But if there's a matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers, I really like that matchup for both of these football teams. But Philadelphia does have the personnel offensively. They have 3 running backs that they play. All of their running backs can come out of the backfield and catch the football. They run between the tackles. They've got a really good offensive line. Their wide receivers, they've got 2 good wide receivers. A.J. Brown is a beast, and he can make those contested catches. They really match up really well. I think they can put that type of pressure. You got a good tight end, and defensively for the Philadelphia Eagles, I think they can be able to put some pressure. And if they can stop the run and then make Brock Purdy have to throw the football, then I think they have a chance. But if that's a matchup, I'm really looking forward to see if the Philadelphia Eagles, whoever they play next week, they can play, and the San Francisco 49ers, who they play, and see if they can advance. I think that would be a great NFC Championship game. But you still have teams that are playing. The Minnesota Vikings still have to play today. The Giants are still in and have to play today. And the Dallas Cowboys, they play tomorrow. And that's going to be a big game. Tom Brady is still in. So we still have some more games to break down. I want you to tune in to me. I am Russell Copeland. I'll be tuning back in later on and make some breakdowns as far as next week's game as well. Just make sure you hit that button and please subscribe. Thank you for tuning in.